Guys, welcome to Taste to Explore. My name is Darlene, and today, my friends, I am bringing you an easy recipe called falafels. Now, if you ever had it before, it is absolutely amazing. It's like a vegetarian fritter that's made with chickpeas, and it has some spices and herbs, and it tastes divine. But if you have never tasted it before, you're going to want to taste it after seeing how it's made. It is absolutely phenomenal, really easy, and then we just going to fry them up. So they are little vegetarian bite-sized fritters. It's amazing, and I can't wait to show you how I like to prepare it. Now, everywhere does it differently, but this is my version, and I hope you like it, so stick around. Okay guys, now let's begin. Right here I have some chickpeas. Now, these were the dry chickpeas. I had measured out 1 cup, and in an overnight bowl, which was a bigger bowl than this, I had some chickpeas submerged under water. You just want to submerge it under water just for a little bit, just until it covers the top. Now, you let this sit on top of your counter for 24 hours and not shorter. And what happens is that they will plump up just a bit because of the water. You're going to toss out the water, and what you're going to have here is about 3 cups, because they plump up with the water. You're going to have 3 cups of chickpeas. Do not use canned chickpeas. Those will not work for this, okay? And you don't have to boil them. You just have to allow it to sit at room temperature for 24 hours and discard the water, and this is what you're going to have. So they're not soft. They're a little bit hard still, but this is the consistency that we need. So once again, don't use canned for this. Now right here, I have here 2 teaspoons of coriander seeds and 1.5 teaspoons of cumin seeds. You're gonna wanna leave them in seed form. They will bring out such tremendous flavor on this dish. Now, these fritters are gonna be so divine. They will let out such a tremendous flavor in these fritters. But if you can't get your hands on the whole spices, you can certainly use the ground ones that you find in your local supermarket. Then I have some salt to taste. I have 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. That's just going to help the fritters become nice and loose and crispy as we fry them. Now right here, with my herbs, I have here 1 cup of cilantro and 1 cup of parsley. Then I have about 6 large cloves of garlic. I have 1 small onion cut in half and 1 lime cut in half. And that's all you're gonna need to get this started. Now let's begin. Alright guys, now let's begin on a low flame stove with a nice hot pan. Allow my pan to get nice and hot. I'm going to toast up my spices. Now this is really ideal just to get the nice roasted flavors out of the spices. This will wake up the spices tremendously. So you just want to roast them lightly, maybe like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, nothing too long. And what happens is, wow, I can smell the herbs already. What happens is they roast up, and it will bring out the flavors, the oils, and everything that is dried up in the spices. I'm going to take it off the fire because it did its job and letting loose the flavors, how it roasted, and it smells phenomenal. So that's all you need to do. And then you just put it right back into a separate little container because you don't want to have it burn on the pan. And I'm gonna tell you what to do. Here I have a food processor. This is what you're gonna need to get this started. And I'm gonna grind up the spices that we had roasted so it can get nice and powdery. So I'm using my food processor. You can use a mortar pesto or whatever form you usually use to grind up your spices. Alright, so after you finish blending your spices, now it's time to put in everything else. And now, what I'm going to put my cilantro and parsley. Then I'm going to mix that with my onion that I had cut in half. My garlic. And then I'm going to squeeze in some lime. You can substitute for lemon if you prefer, but I like lime. I like the way it is, and it kind of like brings out the taste. Alright guys, so right after you finish mixing the first part of your ingredients, now it's time to put in the chickpeas in to mix the rest. Now I told you before that it's better to use the dry chickpeas. Don't use the canned stuff because they are overcooked and it's going to be too soft. This needs a little texture to it. If you didn't know, this is like a Middle Eastern type of fritter. So that's just one of the things that I like to cook around here in Taste to Explore. Alright, so after you mix this together, mind you, it's going to look like it's not going to come together. But what you have to do is allow it to process. Then you're just going to have to take your spatula and go down the edges so it doesn't get stuck on the sides. Put it on again for a few seconds. Keep on doing it back and forth until your consistency of your mixture is just all grind a few times. And like I said, it's going to look like it's not going to come together, but it's just going to be perfectly fine. So now let's put this recipe. Pretty much has everything that I absolutely adore. I love the seasonings because I always use that in my Hispanic foods. I love cilantro, plenty of garlic, and the lime, but you can use lemon like I told you before, and it's really flavor. So now that you have your mixture in and everything is nice and mixed through, we're just going to season it, and I'm going to lightly season with some salt. You go as little or as much as you want. I have some black pepper, and this is all according to taste. Okay, and then we're going to put in the flour and baking soda, and we're just going to mix to combine. Alright guys, so after you finish seasoning with your salt and pepper, and you're putting in also the dry ingredients, which was the flour and the baking soda, and give it a good stir like you see me doing right now. This bad boy needs to be in the refrigerator for at least 1 hour, or overnight. It just needs to set. So I'm just going to let this set in the refrigerator, and I'm just going to put saran wrap over it. And while this sets in the refrigerator, I'm going to leave it in there for a good hour, or like I said, you can leave it overnight. And then I'll be ready to heat up my oil and get these bad boys going. I will see you right Alright guys, now let's begin. So I just finished taking out my batter from the refrigerator. It's been in there for 1 hour. You can actually leave it there overnight or as long as 3 days. I have done that before, and that came out perfectly fine. So now that it rests, it's time to begin. Right here I have some oil, preheated, screaming hot, ready to get this party started. And now I'm just gonna make little balls, like I guess like the size of a meatball. It's really up to you how big you want it. I just want it the size that I normally get it. You know, in New York they have these food trucks that you actually see these here, and they're usually like a bite size morsels, maybe like a meatball size. Really easy. And then once your oil is hot, really hot, and you have about 1.5 cups of oil, depending how the size of your pan, then you just time to put them in, and be careful. And that's it, my friends. Nothing else to it but to do it. And they really cook really easy. You're looking for a nice golden brown color on all sides. It smells incredible. And you just want to put a few in there, not too much. Don't overcrowd your pan. You don't want the temperature of your pan to decrease. You don't want that, because then your fritters will break up and you're going to have a big nasty mess in there. So I'll see you right back. Okay guys, so welcome back. So my falafelas are done. They cook really quickly. And let me remind you that when you make them from scratch, when you start to form your dough, do not overpack them. And it's gonna feel like it's not gonna work out right, because the chickpeas that are grinded up, they're not exactly cooked, but they're softened enough to mix together. So that's why canned chickpeas will not work good with this. It needs to be the raw ones, the dry beans, and they work out much better. And actually they cook through while they are frying up. So when you take a bite out of these delicious morsels, let me tell you how scrumptious they truly. You can have this in a salad. You can make a sandwich out of it. I want to show you one that's cooled off and how it looks in the center when I cut one through. They are perfect. They are soft on the inside and crunchy on the outside, and it tastes magnificent. So what I would like to do is just rearrange them a little bit, put a little parsley on it just for decoration purposes. These are done. You can have it, like I said, on a salad by yourself. This is a vegetarian dish, so you can eat this as your protein. You can sprinkle on some lime wedges if you like, since I made this with some lime, or you can squeeze some lemon wedges if you like. However you like, the choice is yours, my friends. Well guys, now that you know how to make these delicious chickpea fritters, now you can make them at home. They are so good in just about anything. You can have them on salads, have them in a sandwich. They are so scrumptious. You can have them with a dip if you want. And I wanted to share this with you because my family loves them, and I know you will too. There's so much flavors going on in here. You're not going to even miss out that this is not a fritter with meat stuffed in it. You know, this is pretty much a vegetarian dish that I often have. Sometimes I buy it out in the streets. In New York, you see a lot of those food carts. Or if not, I make it at home, and it's just as easy and simple as what I showed you to do. So thank you so much for joining me. It's always a pleasure having you cook along with me. I'm going to take a taste test of the one that I cut in half, because why not? It is delicious. I'm going to actually squeeze some lime juice on it. It smells so good. So much flavors. Squeeze some lime juice on it. You're gonna love it. Really, really, really good. Thank you once again. Make this super easy and delicious. And I'll see you again. Let me know whatever you want me to make next. Give me a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.